Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. So much controversy and a lot of deception. You don't know who's coming through with the light and reflection, and whose mouth is mumbling, trick knowledge deceptive. Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. So much controversy and a lot of deception. You don't know who's coming through with the light and reflection, and whose mouth is mumbling, trick knowledge deceptive. Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. Break it down with the proper perspective.
Put it on the ancestors. Well, the last time I checked, our ancestral line goes back more than 400 years. Yes, we have ancestors that are buried here. We also have ancestors that are buried there. Your first ancestor, however far back you go, your first ancestor, in some way, shape, form, or another, unless you are pretendian. But as long as you come from African root, you have an ancestor who came from Africa. That ancestor wanted to return. That ancestor had whole family bloodline lineage that you want to use the word so carelessly. They all had families that they longed to return to. And so just like we say today, we are our ancestors. Their DNA is in us. Their spirit is in us. Or at least some of us. At least some of us know it. At least some of us recognize it. That longing is still in us. So while you out here claiming builders of America, more of us to shake the Stockholm syndrome for this to make any sense to you. So let me say it this way. If half of our ancestors long to return, now I said it this way. So if half of our known ancestors long to return, and almost all of our unknown ancestors desperately wanted to return, to their homelands, and some of us now have a chance to leave, what kind of backwards logic is it to say we should stay just because the ones we know of didn't have the opportunity? The ones we know of were forced to stay. But you want to act like the fact that we built this country, that's not a contract binding us to further suffering, to further exploitation. According to your logic, according to your logic, we should just stick around. Because one of these days we're gonna get a thank you plaque. One of these days we're gonna get that reparation check. So you don't want to leave the country because you might miss your check. You might miss your thank you note from the upper echelons and the oligarchs of America. Yeah, the same country that can't figure out how to guarantee us full citizenship. The same country that's right now trying to figure out, can they sneak a new modern age slavery system back onto us with chains, mind you. That's where you want to stay. That's where you want to be proud of staying. That's where you want to talk down on people who say, I want out.
Shabazz, break it down with the proper perspective. So much controversy and a lot of deception. You don't know who's coming through with the light and reflection, and whose mouth is mumbling, trick knowledge deceptive. Shabazz, break it down with the proper perspective. So much controversy and a lot of deception. You don't know who's coming through with the light and reflection, and whose mouth is mumbling, trick knowledge deceptive. Shabazz, break it down with the proper perspective. Shabazz, break it down with the proper perspective. Break it down with the proper perspective.